Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk, straight from their jocks about the jocks. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
Well, they say it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know Show. I am Jim McPhee, right there is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Know-It-Alls? Welcome back for another edition. We are locked and loaded. Yes, it is a little bit late, if you're asking. We started off a little bit later. My fault. I was late to the show, and here we are, Jim. Guess what?
Surviving the snow, surviving the cold.
From last week to now, what has changed in the NFL? Not much. We're still confused on what teams are what. We're still scratching our heads on calls from the refs. Are they actual legitimate calls, or are they some blemishes in the way that they're calling these games? Man, there's no shortage of something to talk about. That is one thing that's for sure this NFL season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before we get into some of the breakdowns, I wanted to be able to talk about this last night, but I was having issues here with the snowstorm that we had here, and it messed up my internet and everything. But so I'm going to let some stuff off my chest and off my shoulders here tonight. So everybody join in the conversation here. Hit the comments too, man. We want to talk to you guys out there. I'm excited too. But we talk about the referees and how bad they are, week to week and stuff like that. But this year, and especially even last week, it was just horrible, and it's in key moments. They literally decide the games and what they're doing. I remember most crucially too, it was the Colts game with the Texans where there was a lot of missed calls there, or even a PI that was not even a pass interference at all. But the last one in my brain that I can recall even too, where the television crew. Terry McCauley even calls these guys out, and it's terrible when you got old officials out here on the TV and they're calling out the crew and saying, yeah, that's totally wasn't this. I don't know. They missed that. Or in that game with the Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos, they didn't know what the penalty was, right? And then all of a sudden they call it, and then the intentional grounding was one of those, right? When you had less than a minute on the clock, right? And then they're trying to reset the game clock and what it was. They don't know that. And then they didn't even know some of the punishment for some of the penalties they were calling. So you got officiating crews that are officiating a game, right? And they're calling calls that aren't making sense, and they don't even know what the punishment is for the call. So how can you trust it's a fair game, or this game is going to be played fairly? Anything's going to be right in the playoffs, not rigged or whatever, especially with gambling and all this stuff. What's going on with the NBA with that gambling ring? You can't tell me that some of that stuff's not even going down, in the NFL here, but to not open up that whole Pandora's box, just the fact that it is so bad that it is blatant right here. Something needs to be done after this season, whether it be full-time refs or have like one of these senior officials that are retired at every game overruling anything that these guys have done.
Honestly, it's got to be a handful of those things have to come into play. It's the only American sports or I should say league. It's the only American sports league that is left without full-time refs. College football has full-time refs. NBA has full-time refs. MLB, NHL, every other American sports league has them. But the NFL doesn't. Why? It's not because they're saving money, because they're paying these guys six figures to ref Sunday football games, and that's considered part-time. It's wild. So yeah, a few things have to happen. Yes, full-time refs is mandatory, has to happen. And then I think you need to go take a couple more steps further. You need to go with an age group. You need to have younger referees, because let's face it, I'm sorry, but like if my grandfather was a referee and he's expected to run down the sideline to watch a play, there's no way he's going to come even close to being able to having a good angle or good vision on a critical play or potential first down. that's why a lot of these calls are going south. They're just bad calls, or they're making a call happen when it probably shouldn't be, penalized. So there's a few things that has to take place, and obviously the other aspect of it is with having full-time refs. That way, you can bring all the crews together in the off season. You go over um, questionable play calls in the off season. You can direct every single crew and be like, listen, this play, that play, and the other play that we just looked at,
Mhm.
we want it to be called this way
Mhm.
all the time. If we see this kind of play, we want it to be called that way. So that way everybody can get a sense of what page they should all be on, and that way they can make it'll add to a little bit more consistency for the rest
Yeah.
of the league. That's all people, all fans and people want, is they want it to be somewhat fair. We know it's not going to be 100% perfect. We know that.
Right.
Is human error always involved? But when you have critical play calls or non-calls for penalties,
Mhm.
and that happen, and that could alter the course of the game or alter the ending result. Things need to make the NFL
Yeah,
and
especially with some of
everybody
that
need
whole
to make
10-second
changes.
runoff after it's all done and said and done too, and a lot of that is even after, bad calls were made by referee error, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then the team gets penalized, they get with a 10-second runoff, or unless you decide to use one of your timeouts. I'm like, that is the stupidest rule I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah,
Uh,
so this past week, you brought up the Texans and Colts
yeah.
game.
Mhm.
There was a non-call for a player's feet being down. It
Yeah.
was a key play in the 4th quarter, saw the clock run out before the ball was snapped. There was all kinds of issues with there, missed pass
The
interference calls. So throughout that whole game,
Mhm.
there was ebbs and
The
flows
field
of
goal.
referees that were just not doing their job or trying to do too much.
Mhm.
Broncos Commanders. A lot of questionable calls were made throughout that
That one.
entire game. You
Mhm.
go to the and I'll even bring up, you go to the Eagles.
Mhm.
There was a controversial offensive
Yeah.
pass interference call against the Eagles. It wiped out a
Yeah.
12-yard
Yep.
gain on a 3rd down and 9 play. That
Yeah.
would have that would have put them in a really good position to further their drive and possibly score. We won't know the end result of that. And then you take the Lions game on Thanksgiving,
Mhm. Mhm.
the Green Bay Packers and the Lions. And between them, there was multiple, I
Yeah.
mean, multiple controversial calls,
Mhm.
including ones that resulted in touchdowns
Yeah.
for the Packers,
Mhm.
in favor of the Packers.
Mhm.
So, yes, do I think, I'm not saying that you need to review every little thing, but when you have this many, not just, "Oh, it was a bad call, but we can get over it." These are very critical penalties or even non-penalties that are called, that
Yeah.
are literally ending the result of the games in favor of one team or another, and that's
Yeah.
simply just not cool. It's you can't stand for that. It has to change, and I know for the last 2, maybe even 3 years, Jim, on our show, we've been debating this. We've been arguing our points for full-time refs. And guess what? This is just another season that has gone by. And honestly, I think this is the worst ref
Yeah.
season of all
Mhm.
time at this level. So things have to change.
Yeah. It
I,
seems to me
I
again
don't,
they're just not properly trained at anything. Something. So that's
I
why I feel
don't,
like with you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't foresee the change that we are calling for. I don't see it ever happening. But something just it's one of these things where, like, this is why people continue to question the integrity of the game right now because of these
Mhm.
calls. Because, oh well, a certain referee crew might favor one team over another week to week. Oh well, they call more holding penalties than another crew that calls more pass interference penalties any
Mhm.
game that they work. So
Yeah.
these are things that they're just simply not on the same page. They are all. It's like freelance work at this point. It's like they're hiring guys off the street to ref a football game. And it's like, oh yeah, these are the basic rules that you need to know. But guess what? Like when you're in the game, it's almost like, do I throw a penalty? Do I not? Like it seems like they're sometimes almost like feeling like they have to do something to earn their pay,
Yeah.
and that's not what they
Yeah.
need.
It
They
just has to go.
Everybody just needs to watch the game. If you see a penalty, if you literally visually see it, and you can call it with conviction, cool. Listen, I've seen calls before where I'm like,
Mhm.
"That's not holding. There's no way he held." And then they show the replay, and I'm like, yeah, that was freaking holding. You can't do that." Like, I'm okay with it if it's legitimate, but there are several calls this year. I mean,
Yeah.
probably hundreds at this point, maybe even thousands. Who knows? That makes you scratch your head, and then when you see the replay, like, dude, why didn't you throw a penalty on that? You didn't see the guy bear hugging the tackle bear hugging the D end on that play? That's why the run got to the outside. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all these different scenarios. It
Well,
just
that's what's
becomes
funny is
ridiculous.
because you can get, or an umpire that's field to call the field with some of those other ones where it seems clear. One other one you didn't bring up, I think that is just real quick, is just the fact that the fumble on the tush push, they called it a fumble, turnover, and now it's, if you remember when they played the Giants, no, he stopped it moving forward. Then the one on the deck, and that play ended quicker. They're all over the map. There's like, consistency, like you said, and that's all people want. And I mean, at least people say, all right, we found it is what it is. Okay. But I still seeing the whole crew, the chance to see every camera angle, this and that can quickly overrule it again. I mean, you hear them do it on the broadcast. Hey, I just saw that there. It's clear. This guy has this, this, this is what I would rule. Okay. Boom. That's it. Move on. You know what I mean? It's just, but with what's going on, I mean, it's crazy, controversial. Christian's in the house with us tonight. He says even the one about the helmet to helmet on Oshevsky here again on the Giants here. That one I thought at first too, after it is all down, he's injured, right? They're looking at it. I thought for sure they're going like, nope, yeah, hey, turn it into a penalty, right? Instead, they just cleared it up. They're like, nope, yeah, he definitely fumbled. Meanwhile, everybody's trying to lift this guy up and walk him through it, and part of the logo is blasted off the helmet. It's like, no, that just happens. You know what I mean? That was no head-on collision at all, right?
That's one of those
So I thought
things
that was
where
egregious.
yes, but and from what I understand, the referees are told to throw the flag first. You can
Yeah.
always pick it up if like, word comes from the NFL in their reviews and, the expedited review and they're like, "Oh, you should pick that up because it really wasn't." Um, they're told to throw it first. And then if the NFL sees something different, they'll radio in and say, "Hey, you know what? Pick up the flag. No good." But oh my god, how could you miss that one? Like everybody should have
Yeah.
thrown a flag, not just the line judge or
Dude's
anybody. Like
wobbling.
everybody could have saw that one coming. You could have heard it on the field. Like
You heard it.
it's there's no excuse for this. I understand there's a human element and all that, but come on, you guys are all watching the same thing. You all saw the
Yeah.
devastating
They'll call it,
blow. It's time,
yeah, they'll call it when a quarterback is sliding and a guy kind of jumps over him and misses him. And they're like, nope, helmet down. Like, what? He was in the middle of sliding. So what the
and
hell
that's the other thing
happened?
too,
Um,
is it's almost like, for the referees, I understand they don't wanna make wrong calls because they keep getting chewed every single week, rightfully so,
mhm,
but it's like, that doesn't mean leave the flag in your pocket when you see it. Like, everybody saw it.
mhm.
Even in live action, didn't even have to look at a review. Like, even in live action, like, "Ooh," everybody, like, the whole crowd, even there watching that game, still was like, "Oh, wait, there's no flag? Like, what do you mean?
Mhm.
How is that not how are we not throwing a flag on that?" So, it is insane at this point, like, the level of inadequate refereeing is crazy.
Yeah, we got Christian with a bunch of comments here. He's talking about a lot of the Giants game moments here and the Patriots. It seemed like when I watched that game, It seemed like the Patriots like hated us. They wanted to kill us, right? The Giants. That seemed like when they had were out for blood, almost like Vrabel put a bounty gate out down there. Just there was so many big hits, and they were punishing every Giants player, like wanting to put them out. It was crazy.
That's just
I
how
know
the
Jackson
Patriots have
Dart
been
does
playing
it
this
to
season.
himself. It is pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, I know what Christian's saying to an extent though too. Again, but the referees had also said though, officials that they're not going to protect these quarterbacks if they're going to trot down the sidelines and all that stuff too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you got to do
Our boy
something.
Rise Up
Shout out to Rise Up, Dirty Birds.
said hashtag fire Raheem and hire Clint Kubiak.
Hire Clint Kubiak. Look at that.
He's
He
had
is the
enough.
dream maker, Clint Kubiak.
He's
Yeah,
had enough.
he's had enough.
It's time to
Just so quickly how it changes, right? Well, a couple weeks ago, he was talking to me about top whatever defense and top this and that. Now he wants to fire his head coach.
Well, you know what? I don't know. It's one of these things where like Raheem he's already had a shot before and failed miserably, and then like the Atlanta Falcons give him another chance to
All right,
prove
now
that
we're all of a
he
sudden we're
can
having
be the head
technical
coach,
issues here, so bear with us,
and
everybody.
it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. I don't get the I get the quick changeover,
All
but at
right.
the same time, it is what it is. What's up, everybody? Looks like Jimmy's going to reset and see what he can do. Christian, what did Christian have to say? Fire, fire Raheem, hire Dayball. All right, that'll be something different, right? One of those type of deals where maybe Brian Dayball can get another shot at it. Uh, Daniel, what's going on, my brother? He said, "Go Bills." Still a believer in the Buffalo Bills. My man Daniel chiming in with his Bills. Dan, I gotta ask you, uh, with the Buffalo Bills, when are they gonna be able to help out Josh Allen there? You know, I think the one trick pony show with Josh Allen being the savior of that team, something they got to give this guy some help. You know, but while Jimmy's trying to work on technical issues on his end, we'll see what happens if he can kind of come back, whatnot. I know we touched on the referees. We touched on what a few of the comments that you guys have just kind of chimed in on. Um, I know I think we're just gonna head right into like the game picks right now until maybe Jimmy gets back in here. Let's see. Daniel also says that gotta believe can't be as worse as being a New Jersey fan. No, it isn't. It isn't as bad as being a Jersey Jet. Um, but I'll tell you what is the absolute worst in the NFL is being a Raiders fan. That is the worst team in football right now, in my opinion. Uh, but first things first, we're gonna get into these game picks. We're gonna start off with obviously tomorrow night's game. You got the Cowboys, you got the Detroit Lions at home. Cowboys, they are a different team right now. After making the moves that they made before the trade deadline for the defensive side of the ball, getting guys back healthy, the defense does look better. They are a little bit banged up going into this matchup. However, Trayvon Diggs seems like he may not be available for this matchup. Um, but again, definitely a kick in the ass for Dallas, and they have a little bit of a spark right now. Tough matchup though, the Detroit Lions, but they also have had you know, their woes and their issues. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like he might be in jeopardy of not playing this game as well. So they might be losing a key weapon for the Detroit Lions. Defensively, for the Lions, they've kind of been hit or miss week to week. And I just wonder what what we're going to see from Dan Campbell. Like, is he going to ever give back the play calling duties offensively to the OC and just worry about coaching the game. Worry about just making decisions. Because I feel like that's hurting the Detroit Lions right now for sure. Um, this game, this matchup, I think it's kind of like a toss up to be honest. It could go either way. I think I'm gonna go leaning towards. I think we're gonna lean towards Dallas to be honest. Um, their offense is really good. It's really clicking. The Lions, again, with Dan Campbell calling the plays, you never know what you're going to get offensively. So that's a tough pill to swallow for me. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow night. Let's see in the comments. Christian has something to say. Says State Stadium is looking sweet out there in Buffalo. Saw some videos of it, and it does kind of look awesome. About 10 times better than shithole MetLife. Isn't that crazy? How MetLife, they paid billions of dollars to build that stadium or renovate it or whatever you wanna say. They basically made it the same exact, just newer, where there's wind tunnels basically blowing sideline to sideline and not much cover there. So, yeah, it's a little rough for sure. Um, let's see what Daniel says. Daniel has something to say. Said, "Is it because who the hell are the Raiders?" Well, everybody knows who the Raiders are. That's not a question. But the Raiders are just really bad run organization. Also says, no, the Lions are hurting themselves. Yeah, yeah. When you have Dan Campbell calling the offensive plays when a guy has not been a coordinator like that, I think that's one of the major issues is the fact that him not having that experience offensively to be able to call these plays in certain situations. Now, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good head coach. He's a great leader, but I think that's he needs to stay in his lane. He just needs to give back those play calling duties so that way Detroit can kind of get back into the flow of things um, and work on all those. So Christian said Dan Campbell needs to give up. Yep, definitely the play sheet. They haven't looked the same since he started calling plays, and it's also kind of bled into his decision making as a head coach. And you're seeing some things where like maybe it's not the smartest thing to do, but he's still going to do it because I understand he has confidence in his offense. I understand that he definitely trusts his players, but there's a point where it's like, okay, it's not working. Give the playbook back. Daniel says our old stadium is even better because we actually play and practice in New York and not Jersey. Daniel making shots here. Shots fired. Christian says, is it a hot take to say Dallas makes the playoffs? I think they're better. But I don't know. I guess it could be a hot take. I mean, they're a team that's on the outside looking in. They still have to claw their way back. So, I mean, it could be considered a hot take if you want to make that stance right now, for sure. Um, I like the Cowboys. I like what they've done so far. I mean, adding talent the way they did and now getting guys back healthy, it definitely shows that they have the ability to turn things around, possibly. I mean, they got, again, it's not going to be easy, but they can make it happen. He said, "No shots fired, just the truth." That brings us to the next game. We'll just kind of roll right into the next one. Gonna go Titans, Cleveland Browns. This is the battle of the ship bowl. Honestly, the Tennessee Titans looked good a couple weeks ago. This past week, definitely came back down to earth. Cleveland Browns, again, they're still starting Shador Sanders. We're starting to see the reason why he was third on the depth chart and wasn't ready right away. I still think he needs a lot of development, needs a lot of work, but I just think his time is not yet. He's just not ready at all. And it shows every single week. You see him struggling, whether it be reading the defense or making football decisions on the fly. It's simply just not working. This game, honestly, jeez, you got rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback in this one. Tennessee Titans are another team. Offensive line play is not good. Also, with the Cleveland Browns, yeah, Deshaun Watson is scheduled to make a return to the active lineup. What does that mean? I have no idea. I mean, this Cleveland Browns team is so disheveled, no real direction, and now you're gonna possibly bring Deshaun Watson back. Maybe does he start? I mean, I don't see a point in it. I mean, your team's done anyway, so um, yeah, it's absolute mess there in Cleveland. Tennessee Titans, though, again, they got a lot of young pieces. Rookie quarterback, offensive line is kind of struggling. Defense is pretty solid, but I don't know, man. This is really a toss up, to be honest. And honestly, like the Browns' defense is so good. I feel like that's going to give them ample opportunities to win this game. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns on this one, just because for one other reason, the defense is really good. They are home. They're playing in their own home environment. So, uh, but it could go the other way too. But I'm going to go with Cleveland. Let's get to the comments here real quick. See where we left off. Let's see. Also, Danny says, also, do you mean the cowgirls? Yes, the cowgirls. Yes, a lot of people do refer to them as the cowgirls. That is true, in fact. Christian says, Watson is practicing. Yes, sir. Start earning some of that contract. Right? They're paying them so much money, but they're already going to be moving on from them. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense to even bring him back. Like you're not salvaging anything, so why bother? Danny says that's exactly why they used to sit quarterbacks. What 2 or 3 years before they saw the field, right? Yeah, they used to do that. They used to groom their quarterbacks. Look at Green Bay. I feel like is the last team to do that. To do it more of in a traditional way, where like you look at Aaron Rodgers, who sat behind Brett Favre. You look at Jordan Love, who sat behind Aaron Rodgers, and now he has his time. Uh, but yeah, gotta learn to play with the big boys is definitely something that I feel like there's a lot of proponents for that. Even Tom Brady speaks about that, this season with all the teams that were asking him questions like, oh, what in your opinion, what do you think about grooming a quarterback? Is it okay coming from college? Do you think some of these guys may be ready to start them right away? And Tom Brady said no. He's like, I don't care how high you draft them, number 1 overall, number 5 overall, it doesn't matter. Every quarterback should be developed methodically, give them a year or 2 to develop, and then give them their opportunity. Some people seem to be coming around to that a little bit late, but nonetheless, teams are going to do what they want to do, especially when they invest that kind of capital in a quarterback. The Christian says the quality of play in the NFL has declined because of it. Um, Quality of play. I mean, what team wise? I don't think that has. I don't think that's a very true statement, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of special players. Like if you have a really good, let's just say, like you have a good surrounding pool of talent offensively, and then you also have a good defense, but your quarterback is a little bit lacking. It's you can still overcome the issues that you have at quarterback sometimes. So we've seen it with the Ravens, in 2000, where they had a quarterback that was a journeyman backup, and he ended up being a starter for them. And because they have one of the best all time defenses, they were able to not only dominate teams, but also they ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning it. So um, it's one of those things where like it's situational. To be honest, you really never know what can happen. Christian, what do you guys say? They are mixing in college ball way too much. The game has evolved. It really has. The game just continues to evolve. And yes, there are some plays that you see that you would normally not see in the NFL from college that kind of get integrated into the playbooks. But again, it's just another way to play with defenses and try to confuse them. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I mean, everybody's trying something different, something new. And you know what? It's the evolution of football, whether we like it or not. Kyle, what's up, bro? Welcome to the show. He says Green Bay is also the only franchise owned. by the people and not a single person or organization. True. Yeah, they share that ownership. You live in Wisconsin and you pay in a little bit to have a piece of ownership of the team. It's pretty awesome. I mean, honestly. What's Christian got to say here? Christian says, how many quarterbacks don't even know how to operate a huddle when they come into the league? You know what? Honestly, there's quite a handful of them. Probably half of them don't know. There are some quarterbacks that come from college that learn under a pro style offense, so there's not too much development that has to take place in terms of understanding of how to run a pro offense. But there are other quarterbacks that play basically exclusively shotgun, and they have never taken a snap in college. So that, like, right there is a big difference, because if you're not taking a snap and then all of a sudden you get to the pros and now you got to work on your footwork, you got to work on catching the ball from the snap, like a lot of little mechanic work that has to take place for sure. Then he said, only reason Brady got to play play is because the starting quarterback was knocked the F out by one of the greatest, hardest hitting linebackers of all time. Yeah, honestly, Drew Bledsoe, he was the starter and Tom Brady was just a backup at the time. And, and honestly, Drew Brees was having a really good, or Drew Brees, oh my God. Drew Bledsoe was having a really good year until he got injured. Then it opened the door for Tom Brady and kinda took over with that opportunity that he had. Otherwise, who knows? Who knows if we would even have heard of Tom Brady's name until in the latter part of his career. Maybe he goes to another team, tries out again, and who you never know. But that's the beauty of this league and just how things can change from time to time based on opportunities, based on a player, where he gets drafted. Kyle says, "I don't know if that has, anything to do with it, but it's possible, I guess." Yes. Yes, sir. Danny, one more time here. He goes, if it wasn't for LeVar or knocking Bledsoe out, would we even know Tom Brady? Yeah. That's the thing, is like there's a lot of unknown with that situation, because let's just say, for example, Bledsoe continues playing as well as he did not get injured. They could have still won a Super Bowl with them, you know? And Tom Brady then would definitely be exclusively just the backup. We wouldn't even hear from him until Bledsoe moved on. And maybe, who knows, maybe Tom Brady gets a little irritated and maybe impatient and wants to play, wants an opportunity to start somewhere else. Maybe he gets dealt, maybe he runs the course of his contract and goes sign somewhere else. But yeah, a lot could have changed for sure. Absolutely. Uh, how quarterback's career did Lamar end? Yeah, yeah. Right player, right situation. Yeah, Dan, and that's the thing, is it's one of those things, man. The Patriots were so lucky that not for the fact that they drafted him, and because the front office at the time that drafted him looks like superstars now, uh, after seeing, hindsight's 2020, seeing what Tom Brady turned into, but opportunity, just they honestly, they rolled the dice on Tom Brady. There was literally, like, probably, like, 3 games, I think, of college tape that they could look back at, before taking him, and honestly, like, they rolled the dice. They're like, "Oh, we like he's smart. We like that he's very accurate. That he understands football really well, has a high IQ." And they just went with that. And then when he got his opportunity, he proved the reason why they should have taken him. Any team before it was it the 6th round he got taken, any team should have taken him. I mean, if you need a quarterback, it's one of the most important positions to take. You got to do it. You got to go get your guy. Patriots did exactly that. Um, and over a decade, they were super successful. So let's get into the games here real quick. Next one we got on the docket: Seattle Seahawks against the Atlanta Falcons at home. Two birds in the air fighting each other. Who will come out on top? I struggle with this pick too. Not The Atlanta Falcons have kind of let me down as well. A team that has a good defense, but the offense sometimes spits and sputters. They've been a roller coaster team basically. And then the Seattle Seahawks. What version of Sam Darnold are we going to see? Honestly, like this guy has to start getting more consistent against better competition defensively. And until he does that, I worry about the Seattle Seahawks. Like when they get to the playoffs, at what point is he going to fold like a lawn chair and not be able to perform and turn the ball over like he did a couple weeks ago? So this matchup right here, the Seattle Seahawks have to travel to Atlanta, where Atlanta has an opportunity to where they can get a win here, helping them with the playoff race. Uh, I gotta say, I like the defense for Seattle. The Sam Darnold and he's got issues, man. Whenever there's pressure, it seems like he just kind of buckles and isn't the same guy, isn't the same quarterback. But he's got two really good wide receivers to distribute the football to. I think it's gonna be a close game, to be honest with you. Uh, the Atlanta Falcons, Kirk Cousins now as the starter. Are you kidding me? I didn't think this was gonna happen. But Penix goes down with an injury, and here comes Kirk trying to save the day. Um, I gotta go with Seattle in this one, though. I mean, they are the better team overall, but again, it's one of these weeks where I feel like there's going to be quite a few games this week that end up in either uh, surprising wins and losses. So we'll see what happens in the end of that game. Next one, we got the Indianapolis Colts. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Colts got to get their shit together. They honestly got to figure some things out. They've struggled the past couple of weeks. We've seen them. Jonathan Taylor is still JT. He's still the guy, but with Daniel Jones, he needs to start playing more consistent football, much like Sam Darnold in high pressured moments. And the Colts simply can't take their foot off the gas. They kind of had the Chiefs on the ropes. They had a big 21-point lead, and then it seemed like they kind of like, we're pretty comfortable. We can kind of lay back. Nothing bad's gonna happen. They end up losing that game. Chiefs come back. So in this game, I feel like they got to make a statement, and it's going not going to be easy. You're playing a divisional opponent in the Jacksonville Jaguars. They do have a good defense. Trevor Lawrence, again, he's another guy that to me is a little lackluster, a guy who isn't going to be the guy that wins you a Super Bowl. And even though it is being played in Jacksonville, I think I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. I feel like this is a game that the Colts should win. They should come back and kind of get their team back on track and get back into the flow of things for the upcoming playoffs. Next game we have is the Washington Commanders against the Minnesota Vikings. Reports are that JJ McCarthy practiced in full today. So it seems like maybe JJ McCarthy will be back in the starting lineup for the Vikings and not Max Brosmer, who, man, I got to tell you, did not look so so good at all. um, the Washington Commanders, though, honestly, like, without Jaden Daniels, they did get back Terry McLaurin this past week. They looked a little bit better with him for sure. Uh, I don't know if Daniels is going to be suited up and ready to go. It is midweek. We'll have to figure out that injury report on Friday to kind of get a clear determination if he's going to be available and play. But again, both these franchises this year, it seems like the, all hope is lost. Like, Vikings are definitely not going to make the playoffs. Commanders, they've been without Daniels, they simply look like a shell of themselves for sure. Um, Washington Commanders, though, again with the injuries, Marcus Mariota's done a fairly good job though running that offense. Vikings, they still got that good defense, but man, does their offense struggle immensely. I don't know. This is another one of those games where it's a toss up. It just simply is a toss up. Christian, what we got here, buddy? Said, think about the Eagles situation. They might have not won the Super Bowl had they rolled with Wentz and not Foles. Very true. There's a lot of things that change whenever you make a decision with personnel and whatnot. So yeah, I mean there's a lot of variables with that. Kyle, what's up, buddy? He goes, it's definitely interesting to think about what would have been Brady's career if Bledsoe didn't get destroyed. Brady really capitalized throughout the Belichick or who or who however it's spelled is a great coach. Yeah, Bill Belichick at the time with his tenure with New England, one of the best coaches in the league. Definitely one of the best coaches all time. But yeah, it would be interesting to see if like we could kind of like maybe go back in time. Maybe we save Bledsoe and see what could have been for Brady. Who knows? Maybe he wins a Super Bowl with a different team. You never know. A lot of things could happen. Then he says if the Seahawks lose, they deserve it. Yeah, you know what? And that's the thing. It's all about execution. Sam Darnold not playing up to expectations. If they travel to Atlanta and Atlanta pulls off a win, you mean I don't know. You have to recalculate just how we envision Seattle uh, for the playoffs. Are they one and duns possibly then? Uh, Christian says Daniel Jones is who we thought he was. Not surprised at all. Well, he has been playing way better in Indianapolis. So I mean, I think he does definitely has the talent to win football games. Now, winning the big ones is going to be the big question for him that he still has to answer. I'm not going to count him out because I feel like it was more when they lost to the Chiefs. I feel like it was more because of the play calling and kind of just taking it easy when they got that lead. Kyle said getting closer to the playoffs team or playoff teams that are sitting pretty will also rest the main people as well. They are better rested for the playoffs. Yeah, that's something that every but I would say this, it's not every playoff team. Yes, there's going to be some playoff teams that are gonna rest their main starters and take it easy on those type of guys. But it's gonna be the teams that are highly ranked already that there's no if we get down to the last week or 2 and a team is already locked in at a certain seed, then I think you're gonna see more guys get rest pretty much all their starters, and it doesn't matter whether they win or lose. But the teams that can shuffle a little bit, that might be able to move up a seed or two or whatnot, those teams are going to be the ones that are going to continue playing their starters, even though they might be locked in for the playoffs. Uh, so for the Commanders and the Vikings, real quick, uh, I'm gonna pick the Commanders. Honestly, I don't have any confidence in JJ McCarthy. He's not ready as a quarterback. It's one of those things where like you've seen enough. Like we have some more footage on him now. Yes, he can still develop. He has talent. He has the ability to be a starter for the Vikings. However, he's simply again one of these quarterbacks that definitely needed to sit with a clipboard for a year, maybe even 2 years until he got his opportunity, but he was thrusted into this starting lineup because they decided not to re-sign Sam Darnold. Uh, Next game we got is the Cincinnati Bengals against the Buffalo Bills. Bengals look way different with Joe Burrow, leading the charge for sure. And honestly, the Bengals defense has been surprisingly a little bit better the past couple of weeks. Um, Bills got a challenge. I mean, call it what you want. I know the Bengals defense isn't all that, but the Bengals can put up points, just like the Bills can put up points. Josh Allen is going to put up points. I kind of think that this game is going to be a shootout. It's going to be like one of these things where like back and forth. The last team that has the ball is going to end up winning the game. In Buffalo, tough place to play, obviously for the environment, but man, it's tough. I this game right here is going to give me nightmares. But I think I'm going to go with honestly, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills on this one, being home. I mean, I it's hard to say. I don't know, man. Maybe I go with the Bengals. It's one of these toss-up ones. Uh, all right. Just gonna confirm it. I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals just because of the offense so special. To get back T Higgins, they have weapons. The Buffalo Bills, honestly, they could have a very, oh, or I should say, more explosive offense if they just had that number one playmaking receiver. They still need it. Until they get that, I feel like this team is it's always on Josh Allen's, shoulders, always. Um, can they overcome it? For sure. You've seen that happen before with them. But again, I just think it's one of these things where like Bills are also trying to claw their way to try to win their division and also be one of these high ranking playoff teams that we kind of saw in the beginning. We thought that that was going to happen. We thought that the Bills were going to be a shoo-in. Obviously not this year. So give me Cincinnati Bengals in that one. Next one, New Orleans Saints, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers are getting back Mike Evans, it seems like this week. He's coming back to practice. If everything goes well, Mike Evans will be back in the lineup. Jalen McMillan, the rookie who's been out basically all year, he's also due to come back. So just imagine that a Buccaneers team that's been missing all of their weapons. Now you have Chris Godwin there. You have Emeka Ibuka, who's going off as a rookie. Mike Evans comes back. Jalen McMillan comes back. This could be a very complete team. They just got Bucky Irving back last week. The team is starting to get healthier and healthier and getting better. Playing the Saints, this is a Saints team that kind of disappointed me last week. I thought the game that they had last week was a game that they could win. Tyler Shook really did not shake up things for sure last week, and a Saints team that is a little bit beat up as well. I'm going to go with the home team here. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this one. Let's see. Let's get to the comments real quick. Try to catch up here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I had that. There we go, Christian. Some people can handle playing in New York, Eli, and some can't. You know, it's not an easy place to play. It really isn't. Um, Kyle says, "I love that this show is interactive with your audience. You guys rock." That's right. You guys all rock. Take it from Kyle. He knows what's up. Christian, what do we got? Said, "What the hell happened to Jimmy? He just bailed on you." Yeah, you know what? I don't know about that guy. You know, just when I think things are going well, he pulls the plug. He leaves me stranded. But it's all right. We're gonna be all right. He must be having really bad issues. I know the past probably 3 weeks. I want to say there's been something funky with his internet. I don't know if it's the company he's going through. I don't know if there's something wrong with his modem, but definitely has some issues there. He's trying to resolve them. He's been doing it the past couple of weeks. Uh, but it is what it is. It's one of those things. But we're gonna get through it. And just right now, I think Jimmy is back online. We'll see if he can come right back in and give us his thoughts on some of these games. But honestly, let's see. I want to take a look here. The next game that we got on the docket is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. This is a very big matchup, and we kind of foresaw this happening. In what up, Jimmy?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jimmy.
All right.
Your phone is working perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
talking to everybody here. We're going through the picks right now. Real quick, little recap. Let's get from you your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions.
oh well, my thoughts are the Dallas Cowboys are really on the move, right? They've really since the trade deadline making those trades for Quinn Williams. I mean, and Logan Wilson. I mean, all the moves that they made now they're really set. They've got that defense solidified. That offense has always been good. You got CeeDee Lamb and Pickens on the other side. Running game's going pretty good with Jamal Williams. Dak looks pretty good. So right now they've got all the momentum. And on the opposite side, the Detroit Lions, their defense is struggling. They're injury prone right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown's banged up. Jared Goff looks upset in the pocket. Doesn't look really settled at all. A little
Mhm.
rat. Doesn't look like that 75% completion percentage quarterback we knew from like last year. So it's scary because the rest of their schedule right now it's rough. So you're looking at the Detroit Lions that was like the top seed last year. to being on the outside looking in here. So on this matchup, this
Mhm.
is a must win for both teams again. This is what's funny is
Yeah.
when you have you're back against the wall, how do you respond, right? Last week it was on Thanksgiving Day, it was the Dallas Cowboys and they responded against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mhm.
Can they do it twice in a week now against another juggernaut here in the Detroit Lions? It's going to be a tough one. I
Another
think
real
I'll
good one.
give it to the Lions maybe to kind of bounce back here at home to kind of get it going.
Okay.
But I would not be surprised if Dallas again pulls off another victory here. And like I said, they're playing the best right now, and they're a scary team.
Yeah, Christian had something to say. He said, "Fucker needs to pay his Wi-Fi bill." You
I
know.
do. It's my laptop. Something wrong with my laptop.
Yeah,
So
something wrong with the laptop.
my laptop because my phone, I'm on it right now, right? And I'm
Mhm.
getting crazy upload speeds and all this stuff. My laptop is at 34 megabits per second, which is ridiculously low. Like I've never seen anything that low before. So
Yeah,
wrong with it. I don't know what it.
definitely something has to take place there for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and that's what I stream off of. So that's what it is. And hopefully, a guy's coming tomorrow. Hopefully, I get it straightened out. We don't have to deal with this anymore. So
Yep, yep. All right, so talked about the Cowboys and Lions now. Now let us know who you think is going to win the shit bowl. Is what I'm calling it. The Tennessee Titans versus the Cleveland Browns. What do you got
yeah.
for us?
Well, I've got the Browns, the color of shit, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the shit bowl, it's got to go to the Browns, right? The
yeah, they're
dog.
home.
My dog shits all over my lawn, all over the place. So I mean, you got to watch out for that stuff. So I'm saying the way Cleveland's going, Shador Sanders doesn't look terrible. It looks like he could possibly be a quarterback in the NFL right now. The
Not right
defense,
now.
great,
It's not
but
right now.
well, no, I get that. But again, way Miles Garrett is playing again. I mean, at least I know we talked about MVP, but defensive player of the year. I mean, the way he's playing lights out for them. And the Titans after last week's game too, just they're not very good. You know what I mean?
No, we know
Let's
that.
just I'll be honest with that.
Mhm.
So I think Cleveland's got this one easy.
Yeah, not to mention that Miles Garrett is only 4 sacks away from having the all-time record,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Nobody.
he's definitely going to get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Could be this week. It
Could
could
be.
be this week.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
uh, Christian has something to ask us. He said, "Do you guys record standings for your picks for the year?" Uh, we have in the past. This year, we haven't really kind of concentrated on it, but we'll. I know Jimmy's winning by a landslide.
Yeah, I've been tracking
Um,
my own. I know there was a couple weeks that we missed because we just didn't get on or something. We were just
mhm,
busy with stuff, and I know I
yeah,
didn't get your picks, but I've been
yep,
tracking mine, and right now I'm at 130 and something. I forget what the other number is, but I have 130 wins right now.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right,
Now,
next the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons.
Seahawks, Atlanta Falcons.
Yes,
Well, Falcons fans, I mean, they're demanding for their head coach's job right now, right? Get the hell out of here, right? So they're struggling. Defense not looking so hot. Um, players again not on the same page, making some crucial mistakes too. Kirk Cousins, I think, surprisingly, again, he wasn't the reason they lost that game. You know what I
no,
mean? He wasn't at all. It was that
no.
putrid defense of what they were doing. So playing against the team though here. Um, I don't see him pulling out a victory here against Seattle. I mean, Seattle is playing really good ball on all phases again.
Mhm.
Defense, offense, Clint Kubiak. That's the guy that, Dirty Rise Up Dirty Birds wants to replace his coach with. So it seemed like he was the fit. They knew that bringing Sam Darnold to reunite with Clint Kubiak was going to be a positive thing. And it seems like they were right. It all turned out here. And Seattle, tough team. You're going to see three teams coming out of that NFC West here in the playoffs.
Okay, Jim. I know you've been waiting for this one. The Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, this talk about that with implications now, right? And that's what's
Mhm.
crazy about the NFL. What they did do right with scheduling is putting all these interdivisional matchups towards
Later
the
in the season.
season, right?
Mhm.
Because this is when it all matters,
Yeah.
because look at this team that's struggling, that's sliding. Jonathan Taylor now, I mean, he's starting to slip his grip on any kind of close to be into that MVP race at all. Right now, he hasn't been able to run the football here. Daniel Jones with the fractured tibia or fibula, that not been able to be mobile like he is best at doing. I know that they're still going to start him because he gives them the best opportunity to win. You're not going to throw Richardson out there or anything like that.
Mhm.
But the Jags, they're playing great on defense. That offense, again, is just doing enough to get
Mhm.
it going. Again, they have to effectively run the football to to um, to win here, to get them going here still. Is it going to be in Jacksonville? Yeah. In
Yeah,
Jack-
second team's at home.
Hmm. If they play again, though, too, right? They play twice in the next couple of weeks, I think. Man, this is a must win for Indianapolis. But they're beat up. I don't know. I think I'm going to go Jacksonville on this one. Jacksonville at home.
Yeah, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars in Indy
The
December 28th.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
That's
going to take
second to last
this
game.
time, and then next time maybe I'll take the home team next time. That's how I roll. That's how I.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Rolling into the next picks, week 14, we have, oh boy. There you go. This is another
Did you do all these picks
bad
already?
game. I did all these picks already.
Oh, all right.
Washington Commanders, Minnesota Vikings.
Washington Commanders, Minnesota Vikings. You got to go with the Commanders again. Marcus Mariota does not really Mariota the way like they wanted to say on the broadcast for some stupid ass reason, right? Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, we got an accent
It's Mariota.
Mariota's name now. Out of nowhere. What the hell is
It
that,
is.
right?
That's how you Mariota, because
I-
you're still saying the T. You're not
yeah.
overemphasizing it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so they're just a better team, right? I mean, look at what Minnesota has done. They put all your trust in just having JJ McCarthy on the team, and then Brosmer, an unsigned free agent here, bring him on there. He wasn't really going to have any chance of being a starter, but they figured, wait, let's throw a shot at this kid just to have him on the roster. They
Because Wentz is hurt too.
up. They grabbed Carson Wentz, but then put him to the wolves too. That lately that offensive line again has just been terrible. He's been the quarterbacks have been getting hit nonstop, and they can effectively get the run going either. Jordan Mason doesn't look like it's it. Aaron Jones again constantly injured. He doesn't look like it's it. And all these weapons, out there running routes for nothing can't get the ball thrown to him. Either the quarterback doesn't have enough time, or just the quarterback's not that good, right? So,
You just right there is what it is. It's the
Mhm.
quarterback that's not that good. It's not that the offensive line is putrid. It's not that they got a really good defense. They got weapons. They
No,
got
no,
running backs.
yeah,
It's the quarterback. It's that simple.
yeah. I mean, and then looking at, like I said, Commanders, they played Denver really tough, and that's a really good defense. So, I mean, you got to give them props, like I said, for Marcus Mariota has been doing. Um,
Mhm.
minus to that one last play there, if not lobbing it enough, we're talking about them beating the Denver Broncos. So, I
True.
think the Commanders have a shot to win this one. I'm taking Commanders on this one.
Yeah. The Cincinnati Bengals. This is a really good one. Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills.
Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. Bills home, huh? Man,
Yes,
Joe
sir.
Burrow's back though. Is T.
Yep.
Higgins back in this game?
Yep. He'll be back. He was only suspended for the one game.
Man, the thing is, you're not going to get pressure on Josh Allen, right? You're not
Doesn't
going.
matter. This is just going to be a shootout, to be
Oh, it is.
honest with you.
Yeah, this is going to be a shootout nonstop. I say being Buffalo at home. I say this is the nail on the coffin for the Bengals here. I'm going to take
Okay.
Buffalo here on the Bengals, but I would be excited to see the Bengals win this one, right?
Gotcha.
To pick it up again and see what happens in Buffalo land and everything when now the Buffalo Bills are like slipping down that playoff spot,
Right.
uh, and then the Bengals maybe playing spoiler for some of these guys because they're technically mathematically in it still too, but
They are.
this is where they get taken out here.
Yep. Uh, we're talking about week 14 games here. We are on to the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And these are always tight, right? Even though you're looking at the Saints and they're not very
Mhm.
good, Tyler Shook, he's looking okay out there. I mean, he makes some good plays. He makes a little, rough plays, but he's still learning. And I don't hate him. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
it's
this,
good that you don't hate him.
Yeah, I know, right? There's some people I definitely hate. You know that. So, so, but yeah, I mean, I think this could be a tighter game than most people think. Again, except for people that know their teams. The divisional games always
Mhm.
tough. Tampa Bay at home, is it, or is it New Orleans?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay at home.
Every second team I say is the home team.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield still like he's running for his life out there, making some crazy plays. Look to see that Chris Godwin improves this week. Last week was a little rusty. Hopefully he can improve this week here. I'm going to take the Bucks on this one.
All right. And then this is kind of where I left off. We are now at one of the better divisional matchups here, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens. I was just beginning to talk about how this is a critical game for both teams because they are tied for first in the division right now at 6-6. Who's going to come out with the division lead after this game? Steelers, they've done a couple of things. They move on from one of their corners, uh, and now it seems like the defense has been playing better on the back end. But man, if you can find a way to block T.J. Watt, it leaves everybody on an island, and that's kind of where they've been struggling in the passing game. But you don't have to worry about that because you're playing the Baltimore Ravens, who love to run the football. Now, the biggest matchup in this one, honestly, is going to be in the trenches. That's it. It
Yeah,
doesn't. I don't think it's the receivers. I don't think it's the secondary. It's going to be Derrick Henry and the offensive line of the Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers and their Iron Curtain or Steel Curtain, I should say.
yeah,
It is at home in Baltimore for them. I am going to lean on the side of the home team. I'm going to stick with the Baltimore Ravens, a team that has been riddled with injuries early in the season. Now is healthier. I think this is the one that they get. Give me the Ravens this one.
yeah. And I think what we're seeing now with the Steelers is kind of what everybody was noticing, but didn't want to say so much. Is one, I mean, we already knew this. They can't draft a quarterback, right? When was the last one that they had that they were was
Ben
good?
Roethlisberger.
Burger, but you didn't really have to groom him, right? So
Well, yeah, there was some grooming
pretty
involved.
good, So they've struck out nonstop in trying to get a quarterback to replace Ben Roethlisberger and groom him to be a guy. So much as so that they're trying to grab this guy, Russell Wilson. Now you're at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't just forget everything and how to play. He knows what he's doing, but this team is old in the tooth all the way around. They're miscommunicating nonstop. Aaron Rodgers calling people out, Jonnu Smith, like, hey, we're all in that same, film room watching the plays. I check down to this, and then you don't do what I'm talking about. So what we're watching the same play and we're getting two different things here. So what's the deal? So there's issues within everybody here, not being on the same page. Fans are calling for Mike Tomlin's head finally again too. So I think at one point now here with Pittsburgh, there might have to be a shakeup at the end of this season here with something up top, whatever. But they've got to get younger. They've got to make improvements. So they're struggling. Baltimore isn't playing the best though either. We've looked at Lamar Jackson, kind of looked just mediocre. He's just in the pocket without being able to use his legs. It's He's totally different.
It was different this past week, though. You saw
No,
the Lamar Jackson of old
yeah,
return the way he was, and I wonder
health
if
getting
that was because he was still trying to wait a little bit longer, an extra week to get healthy, and maybe that's why he wasn't taken off 2 weeks ago.
right.
Um, I gotta say, like, for the Steelers too, did you see Aaron Rodgers last week get beat the hell up?
Oh,
Like,
dude,
his offensive line was not doing any justice for him, so I feel like you mentioned, like, this is kinda like the portion of the season where Pittsburgh seems to start slipping for some reason,
yeah,
and it's showing even on the football field in terms of their protection. It was way better the first half of the season, then all
yeah,
of a sudden now, defenses are licking their chops.
right, right. And like I said, I think they're an older crew, and it's a long season, right? So what happens even to those guys get tired, you know what I mean? Things like that. So it's a grueling season. And it's so much so that Aaron Rodgers gets busted up in the face too. They just beat him up. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a tighter game. It's going to be close,
but I'm going to give my hat to the Baltimore Ravens here too as well.
Yeah,
They have,
it seems to me that, Pittsburgh has kind of almost ignored the quarterback position too long to the point where, like, I know they've been putting their assets more into other positions, but the quarterback you need to nail down, and they still don't have that answer. What's to say that Rodgers doesn't come back after this year?
oh yeah,
You don't have an answer. What are you gonna do? Go back to the free agent pool again and say, "Oh, we're gonna bring in another veteran."
yeah,
That's not the answer.
yep.
So,
Thinks it's
yeah,
time. When
Steelers Ravens definitely gonna be a good matchup to watch for sure. It is one of the games that I'm looking forward to watching, but the next game on our list is not something I'm looking forward to be watching. The Miami Dolphins against as Daniel will say, the New Jersey Jets.
yeah, Daniel out there.
He
Okay,
was. He was in the comments.
quiet. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the Jets and who was it again?
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Yeah, that's right. Man.
So
Oh,
I'll tell you right now, this one, in my opinion, it could go. Obviously, it can go either way. You have the Dolphins that are kind of a little bit lackluster on defense, although their offense seems to be playing better now. The
I'm
Jets, on the other hand, they are kind of in the same boat in a sense. Their offense seems to be playing better as of last week. Look like a much different offense, a team that's getting everybody involved. Tyrod Taylor looked decent. I'm not going
yeah,
to say he looked great, but he looked decent
yeah.
to where they were scoring points. Now they are playing home. The Dolphins come in to New Jersey, as Dan will say. Um, I honestly, in this matchup, I think I'm gonna lean towards Miami and their offense, kinda pulling out the win in this one. That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right. Here. Is Miami at home?
No.
No. Oh man, this could be tight, man. Because I feel like both teams need to be able to run the football. I think Miami has switched to that team now. It's Achan's thing. They need to have him being able to run effectively, and that'll open it up for Tua. Because again, Tua missed a couple opportunities in his last game too. Not on the same page with some of his receivers. Made some mistakes. Nothing like he made a couple weeks ago when he was going back to back ints and stuff. But again, head scratchers where you're like, yeah, they got to move on from this guy. I think his time is limited here. But Tyrod Taylor, like you said, making plays with his legs, but not being the whole offense what Justin Fields was kind of doing. You know what I mean? They call a pass play and he's running 20, 30 yards down the field, comes back to the huddle, calls a pass, and then he's running 30 yards down the field again. And when he's throwing, it's accurate. It's on point. Some of the big plays that they had in that game were all just because of him and being accurate on that. Um, man, this is rough. I want to lean Jets because maybe I'm just riding off the momentum, what they've got and what they've been doing there. Tyrod Taylor playing fine, but I think I'll go with you too, with the Miami Dolphins here on this one.
Next game, 4 o'clock kickoff. The Denver Broncos get to go into Las Vegas and whoop the Raiders' asses. This is like I told you, Jim. Mid season, the Raiders are the worst team in football, in my opinion, and they seem to never ever disappoint in that category. Uh, they're playing one of the better teams in football right now. Let's face it. The Denver Broncos, do they win by any big margins? No. But guess what? They win, and that's the key. So Denver Broncos with that great defense, Raiders really don't have a chance in this one. Even at home, it's going to basically be a Denver home game because Raider fans are already fed up. They're selling their tickets left and right. Denver Broncos all the way.
Yeah, I mean this is an easy one. Broncos. I think Raiders can keep it interesting early on, but then it's not going to be a good game.
Next game, we got the LA Rams against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals at home. I gotta be honest with you. This is a team that looked pretty good when Jacoby Brissett first took the snaps as a starter, but since the last 2 to 3 weeks, this guy is not the guy anymore. He's
Yeah,
he's struggling. And even though they got back recently, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mhm.
Michael Wilson, who was kind of like the fantasy darling for a week or two, has now gone back on the bookshelf and no one even paying attention to him. This team is a mess. Like we've talked about it before how yeah, they might have a decent defense and everything. They got some youth there, but Cardinals all in all, like they are missing way too many pieces to be a competitive team right now. The LA Rams, what a disappointment last week. What the hell's going on with LA? Yeah, like they play. Come on, you play the Panthers.
Yeah,
You play the Panthers.
yeah,
You're supposed to be the best NFC team already prepared for the playoff run, and you disappoint in that kind of fashion. You let the Panthers score over damn near 40 points.
yeah, yeah.
Like, what are we doing here, Rams? You got to make a statement now. This is that game where they are expected to win yet again, but make it a dominant win. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, and really it was poor quarterback play. It's Matthew Stafford's fault they lost that game. I mean, I thought the defense played all right, but it was mainly the picks that were happening, you know, with him and the
You
pick.
can't put that many points as a defense, though. Come
What's
on.
that? Well, no, well, the point wasn't all those points on defense. One was a pick six, even, and
Okay.
again, turning the ball over. Yet what's funny is again, they were running the ball effectively. They were like no problems. The offense was going all right, but it just seemed like Matthew Stafford not getting a grip on the ball. Maybe again, bad weather, just rain, something. He's just not good. We saw it last year, even too, when there was any kind of weather, not playing good, not controlling the football, really not keeping a hold of it and playing poorly, much like last season in the playoffs. That's what this game kind of looked to me like. Um, and again, you should be that team, right? Panthers, I
Mhm.
joked about it. I'm like, well, they're at home, so they're going to win, right? I said it right before I did my pick. And I was like, no, I'm still going to go with the Rams, though, because they're just a better team. And lo and behold, there you go. Panthers, stepping up and playing big. They're going to keep it tight. A lot of times, the Panthers team, I think they're a pretty good team. When you and I talked about this team with the quarterback situation, I say you
Mhm.
put a better quarterback than Bryce Young on this team, they're a playoff team. Easy. Maybe a
But then
contender.
you see, but here's the thing with Bryce Young. That's why Bryce Young is so irritating to watch, is because one week he looks like absolute dog shit, and then the next week he looks like the Bryce Young that's going to help this team win a championship someday. It's absolutely insane. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right, right. And I think he's grade A in leadership and all that stuff, but just intangibles, just missing, not vision. He doesn't have the vision. He's missing wide open guys and going for a guy that's double covered sometimes. So that being said, after that game, but the Rams game here, and the Cardinals, I agree with you too. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he is that bridge type of quarterback. Um, and he looked okay early on. Not having that running game, every time we look at some of these guys and they seem like they're all right, even that with a Sammy Knight, I think it is, looked okay. And then once I was saying that, I think he fumbled like the next play. So Arizona again, they're just struggling. Rams, this should be an easy game for them to bounce back on. I say the Rams here in this one.
Next game, Chicago Bears, the Bears team that is surprising everybody at this point in the season on a playoff run. Never thought this was possible for them this year. Ben Johnson has been the icing on the cake, has been the liquid in their drink that's been really propelling this team. The coaching staff that he's put together has been amazing. I never thought that I would see Caleb Williams be able to handle an offense in the NFL, and not just that, but perform well even so. He's corrected so many mistakes that he had in the last year or two to now he looks like a better quarterback with Ben Johnson in his ear, and this defense is feasting on opponents. Now they go into Green Bay against the Packers. What Packers team are we going to see? Are we going to see a playoff caliber Packers team that was dominant in the first couple of weeks of the season? Are we going to see the Jordan Love return back to what we've seen before? Sometimes he turns into this dominating quarterback and looks great. There's so many questions in this game, not so much for the Bears anymore, but now it's shifted to the Green Bay Packers. wide receivers dropping the football, lack of protection up front at times, and then defense. What happened to this defense that they had? They make the trade for Parsons. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, this defense is going to be so amazing," and they have looked amazing certain weeks of the season, not consistently. I don't know what to pick on this one. I have a bad feeling if I pick Chicago, they're gonna lose. If I pick the Packers, they're gonna lose. So in that aspect, and I don't know what to expect from this Green Bay team. What team are we getting? But I'm gonna go with the home team on this one.
Mhm.
There's just something telling me to pick the Packers in this one. There's no science about this. I'm just gonna pick Green Bay, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's blind faith, Joe. I mean, that I have it too, right? I'm not a full believer in the Chicago Bears again.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in their defense nonstop.
Mhm.
And basically, it's just the quarterback make the plays when he can, but we've seen again effectively run the ball with DeAndre Swift here. Boom, give him the ball, get deep, play good defense.
And Kyle Monangai.
That's the cake right there, right? That's the recipe to bake the cake. Just do that, and they can make a deep run into the playoffs here. But the head scratcher, like you said, is the Green Bay Packers. You seriously added to your team, and despite some injuries here and there,
Mhm.
you should be better even than what you were last year, right? And right now
Yeah.
you're not like it, right?
Right.
Third down conversion is not very good. Stalling drives. That defense again, not getting pressures like we're used to. I mean, do they miss Kenny Clark that much, right? Is that part of it? You know what I'm saying? That he goes to the Cowboys, is that part of it? They miss having that guy there. He was overlooked, maybe, right?
Right.
But yeah, you expect them to turn around. And like you said, Joe, that's to me, that's like blind faith. You look at this Green Bay Packers team, they're at home against Chicago. They usually can dominate Chicago in this one. I'm not a believer on Chicago, so I want to put blind faith in the Green Bay Packers. But can they get it done? Can Josh Jacobs run effectively, stay healthy? Is Jordan Love going to connect with these wide receivers? Are they going to catch the ball? It is a big question mark. But blind faith, I'm going with the cheeseheads, with the
There's
Packers.
just too many questions, bro. We'll see what happens in the end. Danny's made an appearance again. He said, "You
He's
can
back.
never trust a quarterback that has painted nails." And no,
Uh,
you can't, because I don't even trust human beings with painted nails. So
Oh, never trust anyone. Well, yeah, I
never
would say
trust a quarterback.
one with painted nails. Really, you can't trust them women with them painted nails too, either, Joe.
Dangerous.
Long
Dangerous.
curl. Those ones are weird. They're freaky.
Next game, we have the Houston Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday night. This is an awesome game. Thank you, NFL, for scheduling this, because this is big. This is a big game for both teams. Obviously, two different scenarios in this one. Kansas City Chiefs need to continue to win to get back into the playoffs. Hopefully, hold off some teams, or maybe even overcome to maybe get second place, maybe a wild card berth. We'll see what happens, but the Houston Texans have really come on strong the past couple of weeks. Defense has been impeccable. The offense is getting even better every single week, for 2 weeks ago to now. CJ Stroud is healthy once again. These rookie wide receivers are finally starting to show pay off some dividends here for their draft picks. Jaden Higgins has become a integral part of the offense. Opposite Nico Collins, this is something that they've been in dire need of. Dalton Schultz, we all know how he can ball out from time to time. The offensive line, I feel like this is the biggest key for the Texans at this point in the season. Is the offensive line has been playing a little bit better, but good enough to the point where it's giving CJ Stroud and company more time to throw the ball. It's opening a few more rushing lanes than it did early in the season. And we're starting to see a team that's not only getting healthier, but also just coming together and gelling and playing better football. In this matchup, it's tough place to play in Kansas City. Gotta tell you, it's one of the toughest places to play. Uh, in this matchup, though, this is going to be a very close game. I feel like it's going to be
Yeah.
right down to the end. Now, it could be where the Kansas City Chiefs take off early in this game, Maybe they are up by a couple scores, and then the Texans have to fight their way back, and then maybe by the fourth quarter, we're seeing a tied game, and who knows what happens at that point. So, I'm gonna go with the stellar defense of the Houston Texans and the late surge of offense that they've had. I just you can never count the Chiefs out 100%. This game could really go either way, but I'm gonna go with the Texans and their youth movement that they got going on there to,
Yeah.
be able to steal a win.
Yep. The thing is, yeah, they can't let the Chiefs get momentum, right? You can't get them off to a hot start because if they're playing at home, that team when they're playing at home, it's just crazy. It's hard to win there if you're a visitor. So that's the one thing I do fear about Houston. Like you said, almost kind of getting down early and like getting out of the game. You're getting the crowd all involved here too. They have the defense. They can pressure Patrick Mahomes, force him to make those throws. You know what I mean? Not keep him contained though. Don't over pursue. You got to contain, keep him in the box so he's not stepping up. That is the key to it here. And basically, then you're just looking at the Houston Texans offense. Can we
Right.
score against this Kansas City defense? As of late, we've seen maybe the Kansas City defense be a little suspect, right? Not
Mhm,
getting the, especially against the Cowboys. So if the Houston Texans can take a playbook from the Dallas game,
mhm,
they can pull out a victory here. But seeing it's in Kansas City,
mhm.
I think I'm going to side with the Kansas City Chiefs on this one to
Okay.
keep it interesting and keep their hopes alive. Right now, sitting at 33% chance of making the playoffs.
Danny says, "Go Texans." He's picking the Houston Texans. Christian has something to say. He said, "What
I'm
color nails will Caleb have this week?" I'm gonna go with white. I think he's gonna
white.
go with white nails. That's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna go with.
yeah.
Daniel Dan says he said, "Fuck the Swifties."
It's
That's
going.
what he has to say.
Yeah, they
Eh,
haven't shown as much, but she hasn't been going to games either, though. So that should tell you something about the team, right?
well, no. Here's the
Sucks
thing:
going.
is they just haven't been showing her.
Oh,
If you notice this, ever since the
yeah,
Chiefs have been losing games,
yeah,
there's no longer Swifty, you know, craze cameras searching for her, trying to find her in the crowd, showing her in the booth. No more of that is happening because they are not winning football games. It's completely hilarious if you ask me.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm for Texans, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one.
yeah, I think you said that.
Yep.
Uh,
All right, here Monday night. I got to roll quick. I think my phone battery is going to die on me now soon. So
Eagles, Chargers, who do you got real quick?
okay. Eagles, Chargers, still banged up. Now Justin Herbert's banged up too on top of it. Philadelphia doesn't look very good. And let's be honest, I think it's Jalen Hurts is the problem.
Mhm.
I mean, you're a quarterback. You got to get this offense going. That's your
Right.
job. You've got
Yeah.
to go back in the backfield. There are no excuses, right?
Mhm.
So, and he fumbles the ball there, right there on the push. That's your play, right?
Yep.
So, I think they got to perform better. It's just going to be a tight game. The Chargers defense, I think, is still going to step up here, but
Mhm.
Chargers just banged up too much enough. I think Philly can bounce back here. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, buddy. Um, with this one, with the Eagles and Chargers, again, I talked about the offensive line woes that the LA Chargers have. They've been struggling since Justin Herbert sustained an injury to his hand, and now what's going to happen? He's having a hard time taking snaps. How much more is that going to affect him the longer he plays with that? What it looks like to me is when he was running off is that he had a broken finger on the hand. When they came out with the glove, it looked like he had a prosthetic. It was kind of hilarious to watch. But again, with the injuries, the battered offensive line, I know the Chargers are a good team, even though they're playing at well, it's not their home anymore. They don't have a home. The Philadelphia Eagles travel extremely well. Look for this to be basically an Eagles home game. Eagles are on the up. You've seen the offense play better now that they're getting the ball more to AJ Brown again. The team is starting to come together. The defense is playing better. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles in this matchup for sure. Danny also had to say that he goes, "Hey, Baldy," he goes, you want to say fuck the Chiefs. Just say it. Fuck those Chiefs.
You want to just be blunt. Why you got
That's
to do
right.
it, right? Just
Yep.
dance, say what you want, right? I would.
That's it. That's it. Dan says, "Thank God that we're getting off right now because he's tired of hearing us." Um,
Oh wow.
No.
Well,
It's
your opinion, I'd give it to you.
so Dan said, what's gonna happen is Herbert is gonna plow his smoking hot girlfriend, but then get ran over by whatever defense he
Eh,
plays.
I think that could be a fair trade-off, right?
For sure, for sure. Listen, Jim, we got through it, man. Technical difficulties and all. We've
Yeah.
got through the picks portion. We talked a little bit about referees and all that. Been great. Listen, everybody, we got to thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really does. It makes this show so much more fun when you guys get are interactive and you comment down below. Make sure to tune in next week with us. But before everybody goes, if you're new to the show, we encourage you guys to head over to our YouTube channel. Please further support this channel. Hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the thumbs up as well. And don't forget to tell a friend and share the video. Jimmy, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Uh, no, just thanks so much for everybody. And yeah, people that are still watching, tell your friends, tell your family to join in the family and say, hey, well, I like talking with these guys. These guys are a lot of fun. Let's have some fun talking to each other, right? So
Oh
hopefully
yeah,
everything's square next week, and we'll be good. Unless I'll just go live from my mobile every time, whatever.
it worked out better. I will
Did
say that it definitely worked out better.
yeah, I could probably put a filter on this to make me look a little better too. All right,
Maybe, maybe.
all right,
All right,
guys. See
everybody.
you in the next
We'll,
one.
we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, and we out. Peace.